All right, when you think of ancient Egypt, what's the first thing that pops into your head? It's the pyramids, right? These massive, iconic structures that just scream ancient world. But here's the thing. The Great Pyramids didn't just appear out of nowhere. They weren't born from some single flash of genius. No, their story is actually one of evolution, of trial and error, a legacy built over thousands of years, one stone at a time. And believe it or not, it all starts somewhere you would never, ever expect. I mean, just look at them. The Great Pyramids of Giza. They are so huge, so geometrically perfect. They almost feel alien, like they were just dropped into the desert from outer space. But of course, they weren't.
So, yeah, we all know what they are, but how did they come to be? Well, the real story is this slow, painstaking journey of evolution. It's a fascinating look at how a simple idea can morph over centuries, turning from a basic desire into, well, one of the wonders of the ancient world.
See, the answer isn't some single brilliant invention. It's a story that unfolds over thousands of years. And to really get how we ended up with the marvels at Giza, we have to go back. I mean, way back. Before the famous pharaohs, before the dynasties, to a time when a tomb was pretty much just a hole in the sand.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. We're in the pre-dynastic period now. Long before anyone even dreamed of a pyramid, the ancient Egyptians were already completely obsessed with one core idea: how to create a permanent, eternal home for the afterlife.
And this quest for forever didn't just happen overnight. It was a step-by-step process. It started with the absolute simplest burials, got a major boost as a society got wealthier, and eventually led to the very first, real architectural projects.
And when I say simple beginnings, I mean really humble. Take a look at this cooking pot. It's from what we call the Naka-I period. It was found in a basic pit in the sand, right next to a body. The thinking was pretty clear, right? You take your stuff with you. But that house for the afterlife, it was still just a hole.
But then, things start to change. We begin to see actual structures, like this wooden tomb here. Okay, so it's not stone, it's definitely not permanent yet, but you can see the ambition, can't you? This is the first real attempt to build an actual house for the dead, not just a simple grave. And as Egyptian society got richer, well, the tombs got fancier, a lot fancier. They literally became canvases. This incredible painted tomb from the Naqada II period, it's not just a box for a body anymore. It's a vibrant, almost magical celebration of life, all designed to keep the deceased going for all eternity. All right, so this ambition, it completely explodes when Egypt unifies and we get the first kings. All of a sudden, tombs aren't just for rich people anymore. Now they're massive, monumental statements of royal power. I mean, just look at the sheer scale of this thing. This is the tomb complex for a king named Jur from the very first dynasty. You've got the main burial in the center, sure, but it's surrounded by dozens of smaller rooms packed with grave goods. And you see those other graves scattered around? Those are for his servants and officials, buried right alongside him so they could keep serving him in the afterlife. The ambition here is just staggering.
But there was a pretty big problem. All of these impressive structures were built with mud brick and wood. And those materials, they just don't last. They're vulnerable to, well, everything. If they wanted to achieve true eternal permanence, they needed a revolution, a materials revolution. They needed stone. And guess what? That revolution came. This next step we're going to talk about is the absolute crucial link between those simple early graves and the pyramids we all recognize. It's a story about a new shape, a brand new material, and one absolute genius of an architect.
And here it is. This is that leap, right here on your screen. On the left, you've got one of those complex mud brick tombs. Impressive for its time, but fragile. On the right, an early mastaba, built from solid, carved stone. That thing is designed to last forever. This, right here, was the game changer. So what exactly is a mastaba? Well, think of it as a house for eternity. The burial itself was way down deep underground in a nice, protected chamber. Then you had a vertical shaft connecting it up to the surface. And on top, you had this big, solid, rectangular building that served as a permanent marker. It would sometimes even have a little chapel and a statue for the person's life force, what they called the Ka, to live in.
And for a while, this was the new normal for royal tombs. That is, until an architect named Imhotep, who was working for King Djoser, had an idea. It was so simple, but at the same time completely revolutionary. He just thought, hey, what if we took the basic mastaba and just stacked them, one on top of the other,
each one a little smaller than the one below. And the result? The world's first pyramid, the step pyramid. This is the granddaddy of them all.
So Imhotep's big idea, it basically sparked an architectural arms race. For the next 100 years or so, during the 4th dynasty, the pharaohs weren't just building tombs anymore. They were locked in this frantic, high-stakes race to perfect this new shape, to create the first true, smooth-sided pyramid.
But listen, this race to perfection was not a straight line, not at all. It was a messy, even dangerous process of trial and error. We're talking catastrophic failures, but also brilliant on-the-fly fixes, all pushing towards that one single goal, the perfect pyramid.
And oh boy, did they fail at first. This is the pyramid at medium. It actually started out as a step pyramid, kind of like Djoser's, but later on, builders tried to convert it into a true, smooth-sided pyramid by filling in the steps. The problem was their construction methods were just wrong. The whole outer casing collapsed, leaving this ruined core you see today. A very powerful, very public lesson in engineering.
But the cool thing is they learned from those mistakes. This right here is the famous bent pyramid. Now they started building this thing at a super steep, really ambitious 54-degree angle. But at some point they must have realized it was getting unstable and was probably going to collapse just like the one at medium. So what did they do? Halfway up, they just changed the plan. They pivoted to a much safer 43-degree angle. This pyramid is literally a monument to them learning and problem-solving in real time. It's amazing.
So, after the total disaster at medium and that crazy mid-build correction at Dashur, they finally cracked the code. All of that hard-won knowledge, all the failures, all the experience, it all came together. It culminated in the ultimate expression of the pyramid form, the Great Pyramids of Giza. Perfection, finally achieved in stone. And the scale is just mind-boggling. Let's just put this in perspective. Khufu's pyramid, the Great Pyramid, was originally 147 meters high. That's almost 500 feet. On a base that's 230 meters wide. Even the smallest of the three main ones, Menkaure's, was a whopping 66 meters tall. These weren't just tombs anymore. They were literally man-made mountains.
So this whole incredible journey, right, from a simple cooking pot and a sandy grave, all the way to the mountains of Giza, it has to be one of the greatest architectural stories in all of human history. But, and this is a big but, this legacy in stone came at a huge, huge cost. And here's the final and kind of ironic twist to the story. The amount of resources needed, we're talking manpower, food, stone, the entire focus of the nation, to build these things was so enormous that it probably bankrupted the kingdom. In their quest to secure eternal life for the pharaoh, they essentially drained the life out of the very dynasty that built them.
Which leaves us with a final, pretty haunting question, doesn't it? The pyramids stand as this incredible testament to what we humans can achieve. But they're also a stark reminder of the cost. It really makes you wonder, what is the true price of building a legacy? And is it possible that a civilization's greatest achievements could also hold the seeds of its own downfall?